Today on the show, we jump right into the action. Get it, Kev? Because they jump out of the ship. The Ahsoka
Yeah, I
jumps
got it.
out of
I
the
got
ship
it. I
and
got it.
everything. It's really cool.
I get it.
Hello there, and welcome to the Lost Cantina, the podcast that explores the stories, characters, and themes behind our favorite galaxy far, far away. I'm Jaden.
And I'm Kevin. Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing?
Hello. We are here to talk about episode 7 of Ahsoka.
Yeah, this one's going to be a quick one.
This will be a very quick episode because there's not a lot to talk about in terms of lore.
Barely anything happens in this episode, but a lot happens in this episode.
Yeah.
It's all action.
Unfortunately, this is an audio medium talking about a visual format. So that's the challenge we're running into today. Is we're going to be like, we don't want to bore our listeners by being like, oh, look at that action, it's so cool.
Guys, did you see that?
Did you see that?
Yeah.
That would be the entirety of the episode. But we'll do a quick little synopsis. We want to make sure we finish out the series correct. We got one more after this. We're excited to talk about it, especially the implications of the future of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, those are things we got stuff to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about.
But, of course, before we get into it, we're going to do that housekeeping stuff. Again, all of you know, we're going to do that brief synopsis, and then we're going to kind of go over whatever lore we have, some quotes and stuff in there. But for reals, though, if you have not watched the show, like, by this point, you're listening, I mean, come on. What are you doing?
It's quite foolish of you.
What are you doing? Making a Halo series and not playing Halo? What are you doing?
The Halo Season 2 recap is coming soon for our lore party friends.
For the lore party peeps. We are planning on that. We're gonna take.
We're so behind. Life gets in the way.
Yeah, we've had a lot of life stuff go on in the last couple weeks, but yeah, it's been fun.
So if you'd like to email us about our lack of Star Wars and or Halo content, please feel free to email us at thelostcantinapod@gmail.com with your thoughts and maybe some episode ideas so we can, talk about them.
We do have a couple in the bank ready to go, so don't worry. After this, we are going to have some more interesting episodes, non-recap related. But before we dive into it again, spoilers, if you haven't watched the episode, just go watch it. It takes 45 minutes?
Yep.
So before we get into it, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, now that we have had that break, you have been officially warned. Again, this is going to be hella fast. So just prepare. That timestamp is yes, you're not going crazy. It's not that long.
No. The part that I kind of want to dive into a little bit though is the beginning part, which I found is very interesting lore-wise. We get to see at the beginning of the episode, we're back on Coruscant, and Hera is facing a tribunal for her actions on the planet, including, which she could basically be charged with going AWOL. And,
pretty much. I mean, she did. That's what she did. Yeah.
She went AWOL. She misappropriated Republic resources and got 2 Republic officers killed, 2 pilots dead. Which for some reason we're not talking about that. And it seems to not get brought up. It's like, hey, you disappeared and 2 people died.
Yeah, I mean, what the big thing that you're going to talk about here, we did mention in a previous episode. For those who have not read Heir to the Empire or any of the Thrawn books, I really recommend it, myself included. Really recommend it. Because what Jaden's going to talk about here is still kind of the same thing that he talked about in his theory that he got ripped on TikTok. Yeah, seriously, read those books or read a brief synopsis or whatever you want. I'll let Jaden really dive into this one because this is a lot.
So basically, Senator Xenos, which we all, we all are getting the feeling that he's this big imperial dickhead spy,
Mm-hmm.
working to undermine the New Republic from the inside. But I mean, to me, he seems more and more every episode like the new representation of a guy called Borsk Phalia
Mm-hmm.
from the Star Wars Legends. He was a Bothan. Many
Ooh.
Bothans died to bring us this information. That guy. He's one of those guys. He basically was just a guy who wanted to collect power for himself
Mm-hmm.
at the expense of the New Republic. And I honestly think that's probably what they're going to do. That would be, at least to me, the more interesting version of what because it'd be very easy for him to be, oh my god, he's an imperial agent sneaking into the higher up of government. Like we've seen that a lot
Yeah.
so far, so I would love to see him just be like, no, he's just a guy who was fooled.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm,
it'd just be more, I think it'd just be more interesting.
there's a lot of parallels between this show and like Mandalorian and a bunch of the newer content for Star Wars. And there's a lot of comparisons between this stuff and the EU now. Like it at first there was, not like EU was like, nah, we ain't doing that. We don't do that here in you know, Kennedy Lucasfilm land. But now it's
It's a nice extended universe you got here. It'd be a shame if somebody came in and hurt it.
yeah.
It'd be a
But
shame if this was not. That's a nice Dash Rendar you got there. It'd be a shame if he wasn't canon anymore.
hey, who's this guy? Because then you got this now. Now you got along comes this guy, Dave Filoni. He coming in. He's got his
This
hat
wise
on.
guy Dave
He doesn't take
Filoni.
his hat off indoors. He keeps it on. You know what I'm saying? This guy comes in. He's
I
gonna
hear
fix
he's a
things up.
Penguins fan. That guy.
Yeah, he's doing an inspection, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And he's from the union. He's doing an inspection, and he's gonna find out what we gotta fix here in this
He's
Lucas
from the
Star Wars.
union. What union? The Techno Union.
There you go. But yeah, no, jokes aside, there's a lot of stuff here that is now connected to the EU. But I know you and I have talked about it a lot. Characters are being replaced from the EU with newer characters, or they're not
Yeah,
necessarily being replaced. They're being like, it's like placeholders almost, or they are
adapted.
going to fill the role.
They can't do Heir to the Empire 1-to-1 like that. You already have to accept that. So I think they're gonna rework it a little bit. I mean, the most important player is still going to be there at the end of the day. So, but Senator Xenos, like I think he has a line that I really thought was very cool from him. He just says Imperial Remnant, which everyone was like, "Ooh, that's EU stuff. That's EU stuff right there." And he just goes, "Imperial Remnant is such a sensational term." And I was like, "Oh, you smarmy little, you jerk, sneaking it in there just with your politics."
Hey, politics is Star Wars.
Star Wars is all about politics, man. And it's looking like at the last, it's looking like Hera's actually going to be court-martialed for her actions. And all of a sudden, she is saved by a last-minute intervention by none other than C-3PO.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was not expecting. I was quite
not
enjoying that. And he informs the council that Hera was in fact acting on secret orders from Senator Organa herself. Which is so funny that was like, yep, cool, that works. Everybody agrees. All right, we're all good. And it's like, that should not have worked. That's not how government works.
Yeah. I mean, even Mon Mothma was like, I can't do anything for you. Like, she wanted to help her, but she was like, I can't fucking do anything for you. And Leia's just like, yo, what up? Let me help you out there. And I think it's cool that Leia's involved. Like, she's aware of stuff, which is, I think that's really cool. Like, granted, okay, like she's not going to show up, but like, I think that's cool that it's tied in a little bit more. And
it gets back to me again being like, I hate that we are choosing now to be reverent with these characters. It's like, just, just recast. I know it's blasphemous to say, but like, if this character is so important, they would show up. Leia would show up to this meeting herself. She would not send C-3PO.
No, I agree. But still, it was really cool.
It was great. No, I loved having the cameo. It's anytime that guy waddles onto screen, I love it.
Yeah. So the next scene is with Ahsoka. Now Ahsoka is training on her ship with not Hu Yang, but with Anakin Skywalker. But
What?
it's not actually Anakin in terms of the Force Ghost stuff or the World Between Worlds. It is a training hologram that she got from him way back when Clone War stuff. She's had them all this time and she's been using them to train. Um, I think that's great. I
It's
think it's
really cool because
great.
it parallels the dialogue that we hear a lot of, like, from, I think, Tales of the Jedi.
Hmm.
You know, it's like, it's my
Yeah,
job to train you, and it's just so cool that they matched
yeah,
up the wording of it.
yeah,
And I like the idea that she has. I think she says she has 20 of these. So like we
yeah.
have
She's got a
20.
bunch.
So we
Yeah,
have 20 possible cameos, or like 20 lessons that Anakin can teach her in any
yeah,
future series that she shows up in.
yeah. And Hayden's back, of course. Like we see him,
Yep.
and he's in his Clone Wars armor, which is great.
It's a little. I feel like, I don't know. We got that great moment of him in was it episode 5, like as the Force whatever he was. It kind
Yeah,
of feels weird that this is the last time we see him talking
yeah.
is
It's
in a hologram
strange.
form. It's kind of
It's
weird. It's
very
kind of, I don't
strange.
know, anticlimactic to be like, oh yeah, there he is.
Well, don't forget, last time we hear him speak, we're not gonna talk about anything else. But last time we hear him speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool because even the speech that he gives to her, like while he's training her, is very Clone Wars era esque, and
Yes.
that's really fun to hear more of that. And just seeing him in the character is great, but also seeing him in the character in that era because we didn't really, never get to see that. It's really fun. Like it is very enjoyable to see him play that version of Anakin that he technically never really got to play.
Yeah. Which is so funny because like my like love of Anakin Skywalker comes entirely from the Clone Wars, I think,
I
because
know,
that
right?
that
Isn't
was
that
the version that
crazy?
we saw the most.
I know. Yeah. But it's just really awesome. It's a nice scene to see her like kind of still she still holds those trainings and I mean technically if you want to consider it, she could technically be considered a Jedi master right now. And if anything, like she's still following the trainings from her old master. Like I think that's kind of cool.
Well, I'm wondering if, like, given the speech that Hu Yang, like, like when Hu Yang is talking to her, it
Hmm.
makes me feel like he hasn't seen these before. And if they've been traveling together for a while, maybe she just hasn't been using them. And ever since that experience, it's maybe made her become nostalgic for training with
Oh yeah.
Anakin.
Yeah. I could see that. I can see that a lot. I also think that it's kind of cool to see Hu Yang be like, "Whoa, Anakin Skywalker!" He's
Yeah,
it.
fanboying a little bit.
Of course, he is. I mean, we all know Anakin Skywalker is the absolute shit. So, like, anytime he comes up, he's famous. Like, that's the thing is he's famous.
Yeah.
Everybody knew who he was. Him and Obi-Wan were famous.
I hate to say it, but it makes me wish that the Clone Wars were like 2 years longer, just to give us more, I guess, time for that legend to grow a little bit, because it's only 3 years
Yeah,
long, the whole conflict, and it's like, that's a little, for the amount of stuff that they got into. That's a short time.
true, true.
So after this great exchange, they exit hyperspace inside of the Purrgil, and all of a sudden the Purrgil starts, like, I guess, like screaming and like crying and
Freaking
like
out.
bumping and rocking. And so they exit and they find out that the Purrgil have flown directly into a minefield that was left right in front of their exit vector from hyperspace, which is amazing. Like, it's a great
How
sequence to watch
rude!
them. Yeah, it's so rude. Which to me tells me that Thrawn has been watching that hyperspace exit lane, and he knows, like, these Purrgil must come all the
Yeah,
freaking time because he knows where they come out. And there's a great sequence that we get from this where, like, Ahsoka is avoiding the mines, and then she's also avoiding those mercenary fighters. Those mercenary fighters also come after her, and they fly through
yeah.
the debris field that's made up of Purrgil bones, which is such a
It's pretty
spooky.
cool.
It's pretty cool and spooky.
It's very spooky, and again, I think it adds to the like mystery, but also mysticalism of these Purrgil. They're just so cool,
Yeah.
and we don't have a creature like that really that has that mystery to them. Granted, we're still learning more about them, but the more we learn, it's just like the Force. The more we're like, what the fuck is happening here? It's
Yep.
really cool. So back on the planet, we see Thrawn and his
This
ships
is your favorite
continuing.
scene in the episode, I think.
Yes, yeah, 100%, absolutely, 100%. Um, you know. So Thrawn's on the planet, right? And his ship is being like loaded, and he's getting informed that a Jedi. They walk in, they're like, "Sir, a Jedi ship has been spotted," and he is handed information on like the person who is supposedly coming, and he requested it, and he goes, "Okay, I need to know about this Ahsoka person." And he discovers that he's like, "Who's her he's looking at it, and he's just like, "Wait, who's her master?" And they're like, "Anakin Skywalker." And the look on his so Thrawn doesn't look scared normally. We've never
Ever.
really seen Thrawn scared. He's been like, "Oh shit." But the look on this motherfucking blue dude's face, man, he is like, "The fuck?"
Concern.
He's
Immediate
like, "Uh-oh."
concern.
Yeah, he's like, to him, it's like any other Jedi would be like, whatever. But the apprentice of General Anakin Skywalker, he's like, uh-oh. He knows this is actually going to be a problem and throw a wrench in his plan.
Yes.
And so he like the look of shock on his face is so fucking great. And he now knows, who he's dealing with. So he automatically orders his fighters to pull back and wait. Because he's like, I'm not gonna commit forces to this shit. He's like, nah.
Yeah.
She'll fuck all this stuff up. He's like, I have to play that. He instantly changes his plan in his head, which is really
Immediate tactics.
Thrawn of
Any
him.
other Jedi shows up, he's like, all right, yep, follow him through the asteroid field, destroy him,
Yep.
come back home, we're good to go. But like he goes, oh, this is that guy's student? Oh, he taught her everything then. Oh shit,
Yeah.
hold on a minute.
And here's the thing, like he studied Anakin Skywalker. He knew I'm gonna go with the comics. It's been confirmed that he knows Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker. So like he knows how Anakin adapted as Darth Vader, and he knows that like Ahsoka could easily adapt similarly.
Yeah.
And he knows how Anakin Skywalker adapted too. So he's like, ah, shit. So he's got to adapt. And
more and more they're showing Jedi Padawans and apprentices. They treat them almost like children. Like this is the child of Anakin Skywalker.
Essentially. Well, I mean, that's essentially, they have a family tree, if you will, apprentice and all that master. I mean, it's essentially that.
For example, like Mace Windu is technically the grandson of or the grandfather of Kanan Jarrus. Like he trained Kanan's master.
Yeah. So we get this really cool quote where he says, if she's anything like her master, she will be unpredictable and quite dangerous. And he's not wrong.
No.
So that's the other thing too. He doesn't want to be too predictable, because now he's like, okay, my plans may be too predictable for her to figure out, that's essentially, I mean, that's really what it is. Cause she kind of automatically knew, okay, hide here, do this, do that. And so like, he was like, ah, shit, she's going to figure this out real quick.
Yep. So when the forces pull back, Ahsoka and Huyang, they do a classic Star Wars hide in the debris field. They fly up to a bigger piece, land on it, and shut down. And they're like, how the hell could someone know that we were coming? Like, how is that possible that someone could know that we were on our way? And that's what I should say, they're wondering how Morgan could know that they were coming. And that's immediately when Ahsoka realizes we're not dealing with Morgan Elsbeth's plan anymore. We are dealing with someone else.
Yeah.
Thrawn's here. And it's like the worst thing that could happen. Like, oh crap, it is Thrawn.
So Ezra and Sabine are finally showing up in the episode, and they're traveling together with those little turtle-like aliens in a convoy. So they're basically essentially nomads. They go around the planet and they'll make camp for maybe like a day or a week, and then they're like,
it's
we're done.
really old West wagons crossing the plains. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
It's really cool, and they're really
little
cute,
space house on the prairie.
Yeah, they love him though. They think Ezra is like the shit. They're like, oh, this guy's great. And so finally, Sabine kind of spills the beans on what has happened
in the galaxy at large, but she keeps leaving out.
Yeah,
she keeps leaving out one important detail.
Yeah, so she basically tells him, like, because I would say it's kind of common knowledge now for the people in the Star Wars universe, like, okay, Darth Vader's dead.
Yep.
And the Emperor's dead. And the Death Star 2.0, or kind of.
Which did you catch the subtle joke that they put in that line, by the way? No, Ezra says, the Emperor's dead? And Sabine says, "That's what people say."
Oh, oh fuck! Oh fuck!
That's a writer who did not like Rise of Skywalker. That is a writer who I
Yeah.
maintain that is a writer who did not like Rise of Skywalker. Just sliding a little dig in there.
But again, we can always also talk later on about like, did everybody find out who Darth Vader actually was? I know that's a little point of contention amongst the
It's
fandom, because that's the other thing. That's why Luke was alone, because he didn't want. He knew that people would like try to fuck with the funeral.
it's a really dumb. I actually had this conversation with a friend recently, and I'll get into it now. The whole reason that Leia is like an outcast in The Force Awakens is because someone basically cancel cultures her for her dad being
Yeah.
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who is my friend's Aaron. Shout out to Aaron, where he said, well, it makes sense. Why would you want to work with the child of Hitler, of Space Hitler? And I said, it's a big difference between Space Hitler's daughter and Space Hitler's daughter who helped kill Space Hitler.
Well, hold on.
I don't
He's
understand
not even
how
Space
people.
Hitler. He wasn't even. That was the Emperor.
Oh my god, no! I made that joke. I said, if anything, he is Space Himmler.
God. Oh my fucking god.
And it's like, listen, Leia was integral to the rebellion from like the age of like 12.
Yeah.
Like she fought the Empire. It makes no sense at all why someone would be like, yeah, well, your dad was evil, so we hate you now. You're canceled. It's like,
yeah, it would make no
I
sense.
helped kill him.
She's one of the reasons why he died. And her brother is the one who like killed the Emperor. Like helped kill the not kill the Emperor, helped kill the Emperor. Convinced dad to kill the Emperor, whatever.
At the time, semantics. The two of them were heavily involved in killing him and forming the New Republic. It's just so stupid to me that someone could go 30 years. Yeah, but your dad was mean. We don't like
the Skywalker family saved the entire galaxy.
Correct. And it's ridiculous that all of a sudden some senator has enough pull to be like, nah, you're canceled, president of the galaxy. Very
stupid.
dumb.
But anyway, so yeah, they have a conversation and she just doesn't spill the beans on how she got there, or like the full story on how she got there.
Which is it's kind of weird how she could leave that part out. I think he keeps trying to like get her to be like, so how are we going home? How are we going home? And she's like, don't worry about it.
I think he's like just really excited to see her, and he's just like, okay, he knows that there's something she's not telling him, but he's not gonna, he's
not gonna press because he's just happy to see her.
Yeah, he doesn't want to ruin the moment.
I kind of like that they're playing this as brother sister and not romance.
Yes, thank God.
I very much like, because there was always like an implication in the show, but I'm like, it's a different dynamic. I kind of like seeing a brother sister relationship in Star Wars. Not everybody has to.
Seeing platonic stuff, not just romance. I mean, I enjoy rom-coms. Like, don't get me wrong, I love romance, but I do like that they can portray, a platonic relationship. Like
platonic friendship is very
really awesome.
It's good to see.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The next sequence is what I like to call the Find My iPhone segment.
Oh my god. Okay.
Because the Thrawn asks the witches of Dathomir to locate AHSOKA, and AHSOKA is trying to locate Sabine using the Force, and Baylan Skull is also looking for Sabine, and they kind of just like...
Remember, it's Skull.
Sorry, Baylan Skull. They all kind of like locate each other at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the funnier one is that like AHSOKA uses the Force. The witches of Dathomir use their dark evil magic.
Yeah.
Baylan kind of just walks up and goes, "Oh yeah, there she is." Oh yeah, look right over there.
Oh hey, there it is.
Hey, look at that.
He doesn't need to use Find My iPhone or anything like that. He's just like,
no, he's just he's like, where the fuck is? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, he really is the best character in the show. I'm sorry, but he really is.
He really is, dude. And I'm very curious of what they're gonna do now that his actor has passed away. As soon as they locate, as soon as they locate each other, the kind of the rush begins. Like, AHSOKA locates where Sabine is on the planet just in time for Thrawn to send his forces in to attack them in the debris field, and it flushes them out and forces them down towards the planet.
So Shin and Baylan prepare for the attack, but Balin says he won't attack.
Yeah.
So he says, your ambition drives you in one direction. My path lies in another. And then he says, impatience for victory guarantees defeat. And that is very Jedi of him to say,
Yeah.
have patience. That's woo.
I watching this scene, it made me really love the Balin Skull school of Force usury, because
Yeah, it's great.
it's this fun mixture. Like even just looking at Shin, she's got the Jedi Padawan braid on.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's like, nah, we're evil, but like I'm gonna make you wear the Padawan braid. Like he's still like taking stuff that from the Jedi Temple that he adds into his new form of teaching of power grabbing.
Hot take. I don't think he's evil.
I mean, the New Republic soldiers that he choked and gutted would disagree with you on that, but
fuck authority. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Fuck authority. I'll play that song right now, Pennywise. I don't give a shit. Fuck authority. I don't think he's evil. We'll get into it in episode 8, but I will give you the hint of I don't think he's evil. Are there any Destiny players here? Anybody play Destiny? Anybody play Forsaken? Anybody
it's
know
not
what
2014,
happens?
so no.
Anybody know what happens to Crow before he becomes Crow? All right, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'll let you think about it. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't read the Wikipedia page after playing the game for 40 hours and not finding out. Anyways,
all right. That story.
Ron
don't even
sends he gets informed of where Ezra and Sabine are, and he's like, all right, perfect. We know where everybody is, so he sends reinforcements as the Raiders begin to chase Ezra and Sabine in their little pod things. And we get like a really cool, like Wild West style of like wagon chasing where they're shooting their pistols out the wagon doors. And I just love it. And also I love that the drop ships that Thrawn sends out are the ones from Rebels. I think that's so cool that they've finally adapted those to live action, and they look so good.
It looked so cool.
Ahsoka actually can see them at the same time, like she's heading towards them with the ships chasing her, so they can see them from above. And there's this great shot of like the Old West thing, like the wagon ships. They form a circle, a defensive circle.
Yep.
And Ezra, he's like he tells him like, hey, stay inside, like I'll handle this, And Ahsoka is like, all right, I got to get down there. And there's this cute little interaction with her and Hu Yang where she's like, all right, get me low enough. He's like, what happened last time? She's like, oh, it won't happen like last time. And she jumps from the ship.
It's badass.
It's so cool. But it just made me go, what the fuck happened last time? What was wrong with last time when you jumped out of why are you jumping out of perfectly flyable ships? Just land them.
Yeah.
But she jumps out of the ship and she comes face to face with Mr. Balin.
Hell yeah.
And he doesn't even seem mad. If you remember earlier in an episode, she was like, are you, like, you almost seem sad. He's like, there's so few Jedi left. Like, he was just kind of like,
yeah.
I didn't expect to see you again. And she says, disappointed? And he's like, no.
He's like, nah, actually, this is going to be great. Round 2.
And they begin their combat again. But honestly, this time, Ahsoka seems a little bit more confident in this fight. Mm-hmm. Because I think, honestly, I hate to say this, but Balin had an advantage when he fought her last time because she was conflicted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She was focused. She wasn't focused on the fight. She was focused on destroying the thing and keeping Sabine alive and defeating him. It's like, no, she is solely focused on fighting you right now, Balin.
Well, yeah, and like he can tell. Like when he's fighting her, he's like, oh shit, she's fighting differently, and I think it's sick. But I mean, then we have Ezra and Sabine are also trying to fight, and Sabine tries to give Ezra his lightsaber, and he's like, nah, homie, I'm good. And she's like, huh? And he just says, I gave it to you. And he goes, the Force is my ally. I don't need a blaster. And it's like, oh my God. But he proceeds to get a blaster from a stormtrooper.
He does later when the stormtroopers show up.
He does take a blaster. But they fight the Raiders, and like, so Sabine, she gets a lightsaber rematch with Shin, and she's like holding her own. But then you get like Ezra, and he's fighting like Kung Fu style.
It's so cool.
It's sick. He's using the Force but he's like hand-to-hand combating with the Force, like kind of like in Rogue One, you know, the Force is with me. Like it's
Yes.
really badass.
This like Jedi kung fu shit.
It's like
I need to
almost
see more of it.
pacifism to a degree because
Yes.
he's not like making killing blows with a lightsaber, right? He's just like disarming.
Have you ever watched the anime Vinland Saga? It's a lot like that. There's a
Yeah.
character in there who's like he's a Viking, but instead of fighting, he does his fighting moves, but he doesn't have the daggers that he normally has in his hands.
Yeah.
And it's very cool.
What's funny is when the stormtroopers do first arrive, he's very Ezra, right?
It's
He's
so
like
good,
he's
dude.
like, you want to take us prisoner, right? Like, come on, you want us? And they're like, no, we're gonna kill you. And he's like, wait, what? But so yeah, the fight's really
It just shows
funny.
the difference between like rebels,
Yeah.
Imperial troops, and like Thrawn's. We've been here for 10 years, putting up with your shit.
Yeah, it's so funny because I
They've
love
spent
it.
10 years chasing this little shit named Jabba the Hutt around this
Yeah.
planet.
So Ezra does this really fucking cool thing where he does it just like Kylo Ren. He stops a lightsaber, like with his hand, right?
Yeah.
And I know both Ray does it too, but like he like stops the lightsaber that Shin's gonna hit him with, and you could see the lightsaber kind of move with the Force, like you see like the little trails of
Yeah, it's like trying really hard
it's
to.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
And like you think he's gonna get hit, and he's just like, and he's powerful. He's like very powerful with the Force now, and it shows because also I will say this, like sometimes people will use the Force in their lightsaber swings, right? And clearly she was, and he like because of how much Force energy, he doesn't look like he's like barely breaking a sweat, but the lightsaber is literally like melting, if you will, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term. The actual saber part's like kind of melting behind his Force energy. It's fucking sick. It's just
It-
cool. It's a
it's
dope
very
fight
cool.
scene. Watch the fight scene. I'm not gonna describe the fight scene anymore to you because clearly this is an audio thing. But
Yep.
but yeah, so Ahsoka ends up, you know, escaping from Balin. We'll say that escaping, if you will.
This fight ends in a draw. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's gonna be more fights to come if they do a season 2
yeah,
of the show. You know,
yeah. They end up defeating Shin, and everybody just kind of
it
reunites. It's like,
basically
yay!
it's kind of cool because like in the fight with Balin,
Mhm.
both Ahsoka and Balin's objective is not to defeat the other person.
Yeah,
Balin just wants to move on. He wants to
yeah,
go finish whatever the hell he's trying to do, and Ahsoka is trying to get to Shin. And like halfway through the fight, they both kind of realize it,
yeah.
and they're like, "No, I'm good." And they kind of mutually disengage.
hmm
Like Ahsoka leaves, but like Balin does not pursue, where he very easily could have.
Balin earlier when he said he's like going on his own path, he's leaving Shin. Like he's bouncing. He's gonna go do
Yeah.
his own fucking thing. And we don't know what that is. We
Nope.
have ideas. We'll talk
We
about it next
will
episode.
talk about it.
But like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff behind this to where, you know, we don't know.
Yep.
We just don't know.
And we should mention too, when Ahsoka joins the fight, the Imperials they retreat,
Mm-hmm.
and so does Shin. But Shin does not go with them.
Yeah.
She runs in a different direction from them, which is
Mhm.
interesting because her whole thing was she wanted to join the Empire. So why the hell didn't
Yeah.
she go with?
And again, because Balin's skull is so important, and because I've mentioned it so many times here, I'm gonna mention it again. Matt Bidell, I'm gonna throw him up there for those who got the camera. The man should be Balin's skull, okay? I'm not going crazy here. Just look the fucking guy up. He's brilliant as an actor. He's the same height, same build. He can do the accent. I mean, the dude is fucking sick. Like, Kathleen Kennedy, I know you cast this stuff.
Yep.
Cast the man. Just do it, please. Then cast me in something too. Please. But yeah, no, I think the biggest thing here to take away from that is that Shin and Balin are now on separate paths.
Yes.
That honestly, when I look at it, neither paths really have to do with too much with anything going on right now. Because like Shin is just, I think for her path is to just grow. It's not to defeat Ahsoka, blah blah blah, whatever. It's none
Yeah.
of that shit really.
I think
is
she'll
her
be a
path.
player, but
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think I don't think it'll be necessarily what
Yeah.
what she thought her original journey was going to be.
Correct. So yeah, they reunite, and well, that's the episode. Wow, look at that timestamp. So much shit happened, and it's like barely anybody talks. It's not. It's just not a long episode.
What'd you think of the episode, though?
I mean, I'll tell you that after this ad break. How's that?
No, tell me now.
No, ad break.
God,
bitch.
Fine.
We need to not make any money.
We made money?
Okay, now we're back. So
that's where you got the Bentley. Those ad breaks.
I fucking wish, dude. Not actually a Bentley. I want a DeLorean. Basically, yeah.
For the cocaine, right?
All right.
So, Kevin, what was your thoughts on the episode?
So here are my thoughts on the episode. I loved all the choreography. It looked fucking sick. I think watching somebody who's a Force user fight in a different way was really fun.
Underrated.
You don't get that. You know what I mean? It's like different, and
No.
I like that. I like seeing different shit. I don't want to see the same old fucking crap. Sometimes I want to see something different, and I like that.
Yep.
I don't really care for jumping out of a perfectly good plane unless you have a parachute for fun, but that's just me. I'm not allowed to go skydiving.
AHSOKA keeps doing it though. She keeps jumping out of planes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. I don't want to say it felt like a filler episode, but like it kind of did, because like not a lot in terms of lore happened for me, but like it was just action stuff, which is cool. It was cool.
It was a necessary season, episode before the finale. Like, hey, we got to get all these players together. Like the crew is united now, and they're gonna go try to take on Thrawn and stop him.
Yeah, obviously, again, I love the audio. I love the set design. I love like all the props. I love the wardrobe. Like, I think they nailed this a lot, like really well. I loved the practical effects for all of the little alien dudes. Like, there were so many practical effects in this episode. It's just a whole show that it really makes the show a lot.
We're living in an age where they perfectly combine puppet and CGI together, and I think it's incredible.
Yeah. It's absolutely incredible.
I love the detail too on the Thrawn soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
They're just that design is just so freaking sick. And I really do. I hope that like when he gets into the galaxy at large, if he gets to the galaxy at large, excuse me, because we don't know. If I hope that like we see like regular stormtroopers, and like those guys are like their commanders. Like every one of them gets like a legion of troopers that he's now commanding.
Again, I loved seeing Anakin Skywalker again.
Yeah, Anakin in the Clone Wars armor was so cool.
The other thing though is Thrawn. That scene with him being like, that was great when he realized. I mean, it's been memed like crazy, but like maybe I'll make a TikTok video out of it, of us talking about it. But I don't know. It's great. I love it. Also, sorry for the lack of TikTok content. I've been like super fucking busy. I was in New York. I was like running around. So like it's been rough.
Renaissance man,
but
traveling man Kevin over here.
I know. I'm gonna be traveling to Planet Comic-Con in March in Kansas City. For those who want to maybe like find me, I will be around. I am gonna go meet the Emperor, so that'll be cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go meet the Emperor. It's the 25th anniversary. Obviously, just shameless plug for a con I'm going to, but yeah, like if anybody wants to go to that con, you should all go because it's gonna be fucking sick. The guest list is insane, crazy long too. But yeah, so I loved it. I thought it was great. Good episode.
I think the only the question that is still not answered right now, though, with those Thrawn troops is whether or not they are human or dead. And I have a feeling we'll get an answer to that next episode. Hint, hint, I've seen it already.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Well, I don't know. What could they be?
And with that, we hope you enjoyed this episode, for as short as it is. And if you did, please take a second to rate it and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your amazing podcasts called The Lost Cantina. It really helps us grow the show. And be sure to connect with us on Instagram and all the socials at The Lost Cantina. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Ta-ta.